Hey everyone, my name is David Tully and I'm a local real estate agent in the area. If you're considering moving or relocating to the Reno area, make sure to hit the subscribe button as I plan to upload weekly videos on the real estate market here in Reno and what it's like to eat, breathe, sleep, and play in the Reno area. I'm going to leave my information in the description below and on the screen, so if there's anything I can do to help you at all, please give me a call or reach out anytime. With pro number one, I want to talk about the weather. I'm sure there's a lot of you wondering, I can't live in the Reno area because they get all four seasons. They get winter, it gets cold, it snows. I don't want to drive in ice and snow. And, that's a reasonable assumption, definitely. But, I'm originally from Hawaii myself and I've adjusted just fine. The winters, the last few years have been fairly mild. We do get snow, we do get blizzards, and the roads can get icy, sure. But most of the time we get a snowstorm, I would say we get anywhere from 1 to 2 inches on the valley floors, and most of the time the snow will be melted by 11 a.m. or even noon the next day, and sometimes earlier. So most of the time the winter driving isn't too bad. Sure, if you're driving late at night or earlier in the morning, it can get a little scary. But you just have to be safe and give yourself some extra distance and extra time to get to your destination. So next I want to talk about spring. Spring in Reno is my absolute favorite because you get the warmer temperatures, probably in the 40s to 60s. You can get up to 60s during the day, very comfortable, and it's just an all-around good time. In Reno, I would say you have 300 plus days of sunshine a year. And the summers are very nice. Sure, you can get hot. We can get upwards of 100 degrees sometimes. But the great thing about Reno, unlike Las Vegas, Nevada, is even if it's 100 degrees during the day, we cool off at night, which I think is very reasonable and very comfortable. Fall also is pretty comfortable around here. Another one of my favorite seasons. It's getting a little cooler, and towards the end of fall, we can definitely get some snow as well. But like I said, the last few years has been pretty mild. Overall, if you're thinking about moving to Nevada or Arizona, and you might eliminate Nevada because of winter, I would definitely reconsider and think about it. Reno's a really nice place, and I really enjoyed it here. Let's get into con number one. Con number one, I would say, it would be traffic. If you're relocating from the Bay Area or Los Angeles or other big metro cities, sure, Reno's traffic is very minor and it's not going to be a real concern to you at all. But, Reno has been growing a lot in the last 5 to 7 years due to, several big companies moving to the area. Traffic around the Spaghetti Bowl, 395 going north, and 80 east-west, right around the GSR, the Spaghetti Bowl, can get pretty backed up during, the rush hour time after work, after school. I would say between anywhere from 4:15 to about, 5:30, 5:45. And heading into the Sparks areas on either McCarran, Vista, or Sparks Boulevard can get a little bit of traffic. And even Veterans Parkway, which is an awesome highway they put in that connects you from South Reno all the way to the Sparks area. They can all get backed up during rush hour, but honestly, traffic isn't too bad in the area. But I do want you to know it can get a little congested at times because I think people weren't expecting this amount of growth in this short amount of time. The traffic can be a pain sometimes. All right, let's get into pro number two. So there's a lot of people that move to Nevada or Reno because of taxes. There's no state income tax in Nevada, and there's only 9 states in the US that have no state income tax. So that's one of the biggest pros to moving to Reno or Nevada in general. The sales tax is 8.265%, which isn't the lowest and it's not the highest. So, if you're considering moving to the area based on taxes, to save some money on your income taxes, it's one of the best reasons to move to the Reno area. Let's talk about con number two. I want to talk about growth. And, I know some of you are thinking, hey, David, growth is good, but in some ways growth can be bad as well, if you're not prepared for it. So the Reno area, I don't think was prepared for the amount of growth it's had in the last 5 to 7 years. So I'll be honest with you, and that tied into the previous thing that I talked about in traffic. It's going to factor into your housing, and we can't build homes fast enough, and we don't have enough resale inventory. So when you're thinking about growth in the areas, it can definitely be a con. I mean, like I said, it's certainly a good thing too for job growth and overall for the area. Bringing a lot of diversity, a lot of different companies, and we're talking about tech companies such as Tesla, Amazon, Polaris, and other big notable companies are moving to the area. It's certainly great, but there are growing pains, so just want you to know that. Let's get started with pro number 3. Pro number 3, I'd like to talk about the events and the activities we have to do in the Reno area. The amount of things we have to do in the area is probably my favorite. Let's get started with Hot August Nights. I'm sure some of you have heard of it. It's a super fun event that takes place in August, of course, and it has to do with classic cars. A lot of people show them off, drive them around town, but the amount of people it brings to town is actually pretty crazy. It brings people from all over the US, people from out of the country, and a lot of people locally love it as well. Another big event is the Nuggets Rib Cook-Off. And it's a super fun event, of course, who doesn't love barbecue, but it's another fun event. I typically go every other year, not every year, but it's something you definitely want to experience. The drink selection can be fairly limited. Parking can be so-so. So, typically earlier and non-weekend days are best, but it is a fun event. Another big one is the Reno Rodeo. People absolutely love the Reno Rodeo. I mean, we're in Nevada, it's the desert. We got the cowboys and the cowgirls with the boots. So it's something they absolutely love. So I would suggest checking that out as well. You got carnival rides, you got the rodeo show, the carnival snacks, do a little shopping there. Another big one is the Reno balloon races. It's a super fun event, and it's great because a lot of people have never seen hot air balloons. I haven't personally before I moved to the area, a little over 8 years ago. So it's fun to get your family up at 3 or 4 in the morning. Well, sort of, it's fairly early, but it's called Dawn Patrol. And you get your family up, get some coffee and donuts, of course, but the views you will see and the sights you will see that early in the morning, the lights of the hot air balloons, the sun coming up, it's just absolutely unreal and gorgeous. You will absolutely love it. Here's another fan favorite. I know not everyone loves Burning Man, but Burning Man is one of the biggest events in the area. And people come from all countries, states, and they absolutely love it. I would like to try it one time, but with COVID, festivals are fairly limited these days. Next, I want to talk about activities. This is one of the cool things about Reno. If you like skiing or snowboarding, there's so many resorts you can go to. Heavenly, Kirkwood, Squaw. It's just Mount Rose, which is one of my favorites because it's about 30 minutes away from my house. So it makes it very easy, to escape for a few hours during the work week, which is really nice. Another fun thing to do in the Reno area is, of course, Lake Tahoe. Whether you're going to Tahoe to go skiing or snowboarding on the slopes, or in the summer, which, I'm from Hawaii myself, so I love the water. Getting on the water to go jet skiing or paddleboarding is one of my favorite things to do. Coupled with the beautiful weather we get in the summer, it's very nice. Yes, Lake Tahoe water is freezing. Even in the summer, it's very cold. Like I said, I'm from Hawaii, used to the warmer water. I still do not like Tahoe water, but it's bearable. If you're there and it's 100 degrees outside, it's something you'll still enjoy. So those are just some of the fun events and activities in the Reno area that I think you'll really enjoy. And it's a great part about the area. So let's get into con number 3. I'd like to talk about public transportation in the Reno area. So I've talked to several people, I've used it a couple times in the past just to get an idea of what it was like. And the Reno public transportation is honestly not very good. If you're using it to rely on to get to school or to work, you can definitely do it, but it's going to take you longer. It's not efficient. So, if you're trying to rely on public transportation in the area, I highly advise against it. I would typically suggest Uber or Lyft, or unfortunately save for your own car and to get around. I understand Uber and Lyft as a permanent solution is not realistic, But I just want to let you know that public transportation in the Reno, Sparks, Washoe County area is not ideal. So if that is your primary way to get around, I would suggest looking into carpooling or other options to get you around. All right, let's get into pro number 4. I want to talk about restaurants, bars, and craft breweries in the Reno area. So we've got a good variety of restaurants, whether it be Asian, Italian, Indian, American. We've got some really solid burger spots such as Beefy's, some Asian, Hawaiian food. I would recommend Loco Ono. We've got some of the best all-you-can-eat sushi I've ever had. I'm from Hawaii. I know good poke, good sushi. To be completely honest, the Asian food scene it's not going to be comparable to areas like the Bay Area, Los Angeles, or even Vegas, but it is good. Next I want to talk about some of the bars. We've got some really solid bars in the area such as Rum Sugar Lime, Pinion, Death and Taxes, R Bar. Those are just some of the bars that we have that I really enjoy, and those are some of my favorites as well. Next we got craft breweries. We got Tentor, The Depot, and Imbib, and Revision, and Pigeon Head. And the list just goes on and on. But if you like exploring downtown, I highly suggest downtown, midtown, and just kind of walking the area, and you're going to stumble into some awesome restaurants, some awesome bars and breweries, and I think you'll really enjoy the Reno area. So if you find something you like in the Reno area and you want to share, let me know. All right, let's talk about con number 4, and that is the Reno housing market. The Reno housing market is absolutely on fire. We have an extreme housing shortage, and that's not just a Reno thing. That's a national housing issue. It's all over the US, but what we're experiencing here right now in Reno is just not healthy. They say a typical healthy real estate market has 6+ months of inventory. We have less than 1 to 2 weeks of real estate inventory. So we have almost nothing to sell. So what that plays into is basic supply and demand. With our supply being so low and our demand being just so high, our prices are just going up and up and up. And what we're seeing right now is we could put a listing on the market, and within just a couple days we could have 30, 40, 50 showings. And within 5 days to a week, we could have anywhere from 4 to 20 offers on a house. And people are paying upwards of, 5, 10, up to $75,000 above asking, depending on, the price and the area of the home, of course. 75 is obviously on the higher end. I've only seen a couple of those. I typically see anywhere from 5 to 25 is pretty normal at the moment, which is pretty insane. I've been selling real estate in Reno for a little over 7 years, and the market's been crazy off and on, but this is the craziest it's ever been. And it kind of started towards the end of last year, maybe September-ish, during fall, and it just hasn't slowed down. The winter months here is typically slower, but the winter months here for real estate has not slowed down one bit. It is absolutely insane. So if you're relocating to the area, and even if you're trying to sell a house here, you need an experienced agent to help you either buy a house and to sell a house. It's a very difficult market, and you need somebody who can guide you through it. So if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. I'd be happy to answer any of them, and I look forward to talking to you. Take care. Thanks for watching.